Because I believe if you have that unity, then you can be stronger and your voice can be louder in terms of promoting whatever you want, in terms of promoting culture, heritage, food, Malaysia, wherever it is. If you have a voice which is loud enough, people can hear you.
Why, hello there, food lovers, and welcome to The Hungry Immigrant, the place where flavors cross borders and cultures unite. I'm your host, Abang Brian, coming to you with stories, secrets, and the irresistible charm of Asian cuisine and heritage. Each week, we'll journey into the heart of what makes food more than just a meal. We'll talk to chefs, celebrities, home cooks, and food enthusiasts who have brought their heritage to our tables. From the bustling streets of Kuala Lumpur to the vibrant markets of Manila and Seoul to the Chinatowns of New York, Paris, and Toronto, we're exploring the magic of food that connects us all. So join us as we delve into the rich tapestry of Asian food culture and heritage, celebrating the traditions and innovations that make our culinary world so diverse and exciting. Now, get ready as today's episode promises to be a flavorful journey. Welcome to another episode of The Hungry Immigrant with me, Abang Brian, and this time I am in Paris, but I am back home. Oh, how is that? I am in the Embassy of Malaysia, so obviously you know that whenever you enter an embassy, you are in the land of the embassy. I am very fortunate to be invited. Actually, I was not invited. I invited myself into the embassy, and they were very, very nice to welcome me and warm to welcome me. So I want to thank the Embassy of Malaysia in Paris very much for helping us organize all of this. Big shout out to our good friend Priscilla who helped put this together. But of course, we have to also say thank you very much to Mr. Ambassador for taking his time to be with us. Datuk Eldeen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Comment ça va?
Bien.
Bien.
Tak tahu betul tak betul.
Betul, betul. So how long have you been posted here actually?
7 months.
Oh, 7 months. So this is quite fresh. And before this, you were...
Before this, I was in Cambodia for 5 years. Before that, India 3 years, Australia 4 years, Japan 6 years.
Wow. So how is it like being in Paris?
Cool. Sejuk lah, sejuk. It's cool. And what a timing. Today is our first snow kan. So I'm very flattered and very happy to be with you here doing your podcast during snow time.
Thank you very much for agreeing to be our guest. And I did submit some questions to your team, but I also warned them that, you know, we are very santai. In Malaysia, we say santai means very like, you know, easygoing. And it's just a conversation between me and you. And so like the first question whenever I see a Malaysian abroad is like, I'm like, so you from Malaysia? Which part of Malaysia?
I'm from KL. I'm a Kampung Baru boy.
Wow, that's very KL.
Very KL. So I have a kampung, but I don't have a kampung. So it's a kind of a hybrid.
Right.
So when you say, you budak mana? Budak KL. You ada kampung? Ada. Kampung Baru. So then they say there's not really a kampung kan? It's right smack in the middle of the city. So, you know, tak ada padi field, tak ada apa lah.
Right. Because to our global audience, to give this context, kampung in Malay means a village. Kampung Baru is actually a name of a place. And it's not a real village, which is smack right in the middle of Kuala Lumpur. And actually, if you come to Malaysia, which I will invite everyone to come to Malaysia, there's actually a LRT station called Kampung Baru, right? And so it's actually part of a city. But yeah, so tell me, how has your Malaysian heritage being Budak Kampung Baru influenced your role as ambassador, especially when promoting Malaysian culture and cuisine in France?
Well, basically, if you're from Kampung Baru, you're not actually from a kampung, you know. But the culture of being a kampung boy is always there, you know. You go and meet up with your friends, you go for your makan-makan, you go and play football, you go and play whatever traditional games you had before, not like now, everybody don't play anything, you know. But yeah, that kind of environment that you were born with, togetherness, to be with someone else and, you know, just have a chit-chat, then really brings the best in you. So when you become an ambassador, then you tend to bring up that kind of vibe together within the embassy, within the community, and within whichever country that you are going to. Because I believe if you have that unity, then you can be stronger and your voice can be louder in terms of promoting whatever you want in terms of promoting culture, heritage, food, Malaysia, wherever it is. If you have a voice which is loud enough, people can hear you.
And there's power in numbers.
There's power in numbers. So when you are in Kampung, where everybody start going, there's always in the morning, someone will knock on your door and say, "Jom, pemain bola," and then everybody will just go, And then every corner of the house, all the mother will scream, "Balik!" and everybody go balik, and then after that, everybody go out again. So this is kind of the rhythm that I want to use in wherever I go.
So I'm not sure whether you know, I'm actually a teacher also at Le Cordon Bleu. I'm a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu, and actually I am a proud scholar who graduated from France, not in cuisine, but in finance and accounting. But I only got here because of a very good company called Petronas who helped me get here. So I know firsthand how proud the French people are of their culture, of their cuisine. What does it mean to be here, to be trying to share our culture and our cuisine with the French people?
I think the first thing you address a very good point. They're very proud of their culture and their cuisine. But for us Malaysian, I think the problem that we have before, you don't really express yourself in terms of promoting yourself as a Malaysian. If I can be frank, if you go outside, there's always a tendency of race. When you ask who are you, I'm a Malay, I'm Chinese, I'm Indian. There not once when you have I'm a Malaysian, or you say I'm a Chinese Malaysian, Indian Malaysian, or Malay Malaysian. You always have to specifically say the race than Malaysian. If you look at any Southeast Asian country, be it in Cambodia, they just say I'm a Cambodian, or I'm a Vietnamese, I'm a Singaporean. But for us, that is the lacking that we have before. But now I think, thank God, we are being matured enough where we now understand that it's very important to just address yourself as Malaysian. If you want to be acknowledged, to have a very strong bonding, and you want to have some kind of identification for people to know you, just say yourself as Malaysian. There's no need for you to say blah, 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 Malaysian. It's just Malaysian. In terms of culture and food, it's the same thing as well, We tend to fight among ourselves about the food. Sometimes when we want to promote something, we just want to promote ourselves.
Right.
We don't promote Malaysian.
Right.
That is the problem that we are facing right now. Whereas when you have something in other countries, they promote the particular food.
Yeah.
For us, there's not.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but that is the real problem. But when you go to outside Malaysia, you go abroad, and then you can feel that, this nasi lemak Paris. This is Malaysian food. This is satay. This is a Malaysian food, and we tend to promote that together. But back home, I don't.
I think maybe you are very careful in saying it. So I'll try to say it, because when I say it, no one can hold it against me, right? So basically, in Malaysia, to give the global audience a context, right? The main races are Malay, Chinese, Indian, and a lot of people will say I'm Malaysian Chinese, Indian Malaysian, or Malay Malaysian. This notion of Malaysia itself, which I truly believe in, and that's the reason why I only identify as Malaysian. No one actually looks at me and go "You're Malaysian? What kind of Malaysian?" Only Malaysians in Malaysia will ask me that question. But when I'm abroad, the truth is, Malaysians who are listening to this, obviously this is an episode brought together by the embassy, and you would think that I'm trying to be patriotic and all, but this is something that I need to tell Malaysians. When you are abroad, me being abroad, when you look at me and you think that I'm Chinese Malaysian or Malaysian Chinese, when the Chinese people look at me, they'll go "No, you're not Chinese. You're probably Korean." The Koreans will look at me, they say, "No, you're definitely not Korean." Or the Japanese will say, "You're definitely not Japanese." Right? So truthfully, you are only Malaysian and nothing else. That's the truth. And I believe in that. Yeah. And I identify with that. Same with the food, right? Or Indian Malaysian food. It should be just Malaysian food. And I think that was the trouble that we always had in the past. And that's why, because Thai food or even Indonesian food, they don't even say Jawa food. It's Indonesian food, right? So I think there is some sort of constant effort that we need. And I think it's getting better. Honestly, I think it's getting better. I feel that it has, honestly, in my opinion, come full circle. So, but when I was very young, I never felt this. In Batu Pahat, in Johor, my neighbors all shared a kitchen. And I love to eat ever since I was young. If you're Malaysian, you love eating, right? So what I would do as a young boy is I would go to kakak sebelah that is cooking fried fish in turmeric with some sambal. And I'll taste some. And she would taste some of my auntie's cooking. And then everyone would taste everybody's cooking. And there's no like differentiating factor, right? But then it became a little bit different. And then now I think we're going back towards that direction of togetherness again. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel. But you're right. Definitely I agree when you're abroad. You feel that pride.
When you are abroad, then only you felt that you are a proud Malaysian. That one, as much as I can say. When you are back in, for instance, just if you have a gathering, some people have not been back for 10 years, 20 years. When they come for a gathering, in our gathering, in the embassy or in the hotel, they definitely ask you two things. Can we sing Negaraku?
Which is our national anthem.
And then can we speak Malay? Because I miss speaking Malay. Because I've been here for 20 years. I don't speak because I don't see any Malaysian.
Right.
And I've never sang the Negaraku because normally we must have an event to sing Negaraku. And when they sang Negaraku, my God, it's so patriotic. And then because of that, we put another Jalur Gemilang and whatnot just to keep on the boost up.
Yeah.
That's why when you go outside abroad, there's two kind of people abroad. One who wants to be involved with the embassy because they know embassy is their home. As you rightly say, when you come to the embassy, it's our sovereign country. This is Malaysia. Ini tanah airku. But there's also one who said, I don't want to get involved in anything with Malaysian embassy because they are spying on me. That's why you have difficulty to ask them to register. When we ask them to register, people who know, we say, oh, yeah, of course we want to register. Because if anything happen or if any event, right, you'll be the first to know. Yeah. But for that, no, I don't want to register because you catch me, or you want to steal my data, or you want to steal anything, you want to take my blood. But that kind of perception orang lama-lama has. Yeah. And it's your job as an ambassador, as a diplomat, as my colleague, to convince them to say, no, we are not here to spy on you. We are here to take care of you. If there's anything, you'll be the first to know. We will be the first to be there with you. But that kind of mentality, yeah, dulu teruk. But now, yes. Now, because of the engagement that we have used a lot of social media. We meet people a lot. We talk to you'll be surprised, Brian, when we come to discuss. When I engage with Malaysian here, to talk about culture, to talk about food. No, we're not the French people, only the Malaysian. Even the Malaysian himself pun tak faham about the culture. Some say the Malaysian has become too French when they are here. So when you come and when you talk to the Malaysians, the mentality is not like the Malaysians. So you to explain to them, drag them back to reality and say, look, right, brother, sister, you are a Malaysian, don't forget that. Right. So these are the things that we must address. We also have some Malaysian who comes in just to debate. Right. And they say, you know why I don't want to come to Malaysia? It's because blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then towards the end, when you really talk to them, then you make them understand what is the actual purpose of this meeting. Then they say, oh my God, I don't know about that. I didn't realize about this. I didn't realize about that. Then because of that, then the next event, these people who crawled out from a cave, who came out and greet us and just say, I'm here for 15 years, I'm here for 10 years. So when we did a lot of events here, or for the past 7 months, we meet a lot of people who never even been to the embassy before. Yeah. So yes, if you want to talk about culture and food, I think for me, being abroad, is to educate our people first, who are here in France, who have not come back, and to tell them back, this is your culture, this is your food. Although we respect, because you are here, you need to be adaptable to the culture.
Malaysians are
you are very good at it. And we respect that, of course. You need to blend, you need to understand their culture and respect each other. But in doing that, come on lah, don't forget about our roots. Don't forget about roots. Because you need to remember, every time I speak, every time I give speech to people, I say, my fellow Malaysians, you are also a representative of Malaysia. I'm not the only ambassador. Right. They are also ambassadors representing Malaysia. You need to tell the French people about the culture. You need to tell the French people about the food. I cannot do it on my own. So the reason why you have this gathering is to disseminate information. Then you go outside. You are the one who will be in the community. You speak the language. Then you share about our culture and our food.
For you personally, what is it being Malaysian?
Being Malaysian is you have to be proud of who you are. You have to be proud of where you come from. You need to know where you stand, where you belong. Even though wherever you are, you need to understand that because you belong to this flag. Your loyalty belongs to the country. Even though wherever you go, how successful you may be, but please understand that the country that you are born is called Malaysia.
And what is Malaysian food to you?
Malaysian food to me is a bridge for you to introduce Malaysia to another country. Malaysian food to you is actually a connection for you.
There's a reason why he's ambassador. His answer is like, wow, too deep.
Basically, it's just because to make people fall in love is through food, to the tummy. So what Malaysian food is basically a bridge for you to introduce Malaysia to a person by giving him a taste of Malaysia.
And like you've been here only for 7 months. Has your initial opinion or feel of how the French people perceive Malaysian culture and Malaysian food changed along the 7 months?
In a way, yes. Because the first month I came, of course, cultural shock lah. Initially first in Europe. But once you meet the senior officials, the MPs, and when you even talk to foreign affairs and president, House of Presidents, and when they ask, do you know about Malaysia? Do you have anything that you want me to help you in terms of promoting Malaysia? Or do you want anything for us to bridge this relation? And I think majority of them said, Mr. Ambassador, we don't know Malaysia. We need you to tell us about Malaysia. And I said, wow, that really stunned me when you said we have been here about 60 years and you don't know about Malaysia. I said, yes, we don't know about Malaysia. There's no promotion about Malaysia. There's no event on Malaysia. Nobody talks about Malaysia. We don't know where Malaysia is. What is Malaysia? And he said, your job is to tell us about Malaysia. So the moment that I got that, and I said, oh, that is a very tall order for us to tell the French about Malaysia. And the first thing, of course, what you need to do is you gather your team and you said, this is what people said to you. They don't know about Malaysia. And why is it? Because there's not enough promotion. There's not enough engagement. So for the past 7 months, I think we did more than 15 events and meetings and engagement just to tell people about Malaysia. And majority of this function that we do is all about food. Because this is the only way for you. Because Malaysia is full of colors.
Yeah.
And I told this to many of, even the university student, even when we do think tank, we talk to the MPs. And I told them about this story. When you go to Southeast Asia for a meeting, the European and the Western will become shocked on how we conduct our meeting. Because our meeting will be full of food.
I remember that a lot. Yeah.
You go for introductory before even starting, food. Introduction on the table, food. Tea break, food. Meeting again, food. High tea, food. Dinner, food. Everything is food.
Yeah.
And then the meeting starts while waiting. So when you have a full stomach and you're happy with it, the meeting goes well.
Yeah, because I actually had someone who said that she believes that the solution to the wars of the world and all the negativity in the world is food. And I said, yeah, I think that's right. Because if someone's hungry, they're definitely angry.
Exactly.
So yeah, go on with your point.
And then when you go to the Western, there's different kind of treatment.
Yeah.
For them, there's no food. You go before meeting, there's no food. You go to the meeting, there's only mineral water, and you have to ask for it. And then maybe some coffee and tea to break, there's still no food. And then you go for another meeting and you go back, maybe dinner, yes or no. But relatively, there's no. There's no food on the table. So we have to understand that culture. So when the Western come to us for negotiation, and they say we're not here for the food. We want to negotiate. And they say, yeah, you can negotiate, but you cannot negotiate in a full empty stomach. You have to eat first. Then once you eat, then we can go for a meeting. Then once they understand that, for the next meeting, when we go abroad, then they prepare food.
Yeah.
So they understand, if you go by introduction of food, then even the seriousness of a topic, how serious it may be, it can be toned down. It can be toned down. I remember once when we asked two leaders, which I'm not going to say which country.
Please don't get me in trouble.
Yeah, I won't I'll get in trouble. So when we asked them, it was because we have a difficult issue with this particular country. And then when they asked the two leaders, and they said, how are you? How was this settled? Because that meeting was supposed to be a very tense meeting. There's, I think, 40 of us, 40 of them. But the meeting was only held by the two leaders. The whole delegation doesn't have a meeting. Then when they both come out, they said the matter is solved. And everybody was stunned. What? We all have documents, everybody's prepared for battle. And then the two leaders come out, it's settled. And then the reporter was asking, how does this settle? How do you do it? And they said, over a cup of coffee, some kueh, and then it's settled.
Right.
Because you address as how you do with me. We address santai. If you address things the way it is, then it will be a problem. Tapi when you address macam ni kan, very santai, you call me brother, call you brother, we go for makan-makan, we laugh a bit, talk a bit. Then if the thing tones down, the solution would be much better than compared to if you go on a tense meeting.
Right.
Trust me.
Right. And I think that's also very reflective of the Malaysian culture, who Malaysian people are. We're very warm. We're very like everything. In Malay, we say, boleh bawa dibincang. We can talk about it. And before we talk about it, makan dulu. Right? Makan dulu. Like, let's eat first. That's very Malaysian. Like, when you say makan dulu, I was like, oh yeah, we always say that all the time without us realizing. I think that's what makes us Malaysian as well. So we're introducing our food. And this is something I'm just asking you, not as ambassador, just generally, what's your opinion on this? And I'm being a chef who has traveled the world, and I admit to being at times a little bit shy of who I am, and that is seen through my food. Meaning to say that I would water my food down because I would be afraid that people do not accept my food, which actually is a reflection of them not accepting me, right? So sometimes like we say like, okay, maybe if we travel there, let's make our sambal not too spicy. Maybe let's not put belacan, which is shrimp paste. It's too strong for them, which, I mean, in the past, long time ago, 15, 18 years ago when I was here, I was just saying to another person here that I had a roommate who brought pakasam. We got in so much trouble because we stayed in like a small apartment, right? And the smell permeated the walls, and like everyone was like giving us that stare and like, what is going on in that? And we got a warning letter and whatever now. But the case in point is like, what do you think about adjusting our food to suit other people?
I don't agree with it. To me, you have to be sincere in your food, because if you want to introduce food, you have to introduce food as it is. You don't have to water down or make it not spicy. If they can't take it, not my problem. This is our food. This is how it's supposed to taste. Then just be it. And I believe not only the French, the foreigner who would appreciate more, because this is too spicy. Then they know this food is too spicy. This food is too sweet. Let me quote you an example. Teh tarik. I am so much against people who want to sit with me and order teh tarik kurang manis bang. Teh tarik. Oh my God, I can kill you for that. So I always, if I have this group who wants to order this kind of kurang manis, kurang air, kurang lemak, kurang hajar, and I said, let you all order first.
Right.
Let you take all your orders. And they say, do you want? No, you take all the orders first. Once everybody's got their drinks, then only I say, okay, give me the actual normal teh tarik. The condensed milk with the sweetness. That's what I want. Because if you don't present yourself as the way it is, now you are not being truthful to yourself. You are trying to accommodate the taste of the other person. Because why? Because they are greater than you, they are higher than you, they're better than you. No, you are at par. Why should you shy away on your food? If you don't like it, toot off. If you like it, please taste, have a bit more, isn't it? To me, I don't believe in watering down whatever you said, but I do believe in understanding the customer. If your customer who can't take spicy food, then introduce food which are not spicy. If your customer, maybe if you don't go for makanan pedas-pedas, go makanan yang manis. You can go for kuih muih rather than introduce things that is spicy which they cannot eat or intolerable. So I think for me, if you want to introduce Malaysia, all the way out. You have to go on full force, gear 5. If you want to introduce, go full flash. If you want to go half, suam kuku, don't do it. Because if you just do that, then people will just say, alah, ini ke Malaysia. Because the one who condemn you is not the foreigner. The one condemn you is Malaysian itself.
It is so true. It's so true. Yeah. And do you believe in let's take a step back from criticizing our own Malaysians, but let's talk about fusion food. Do you feel there's space for combining foods from different cultures? Do you think that it is a risk to the authenticity of the food itself?
It is worth to gamble to have that, I believe. You can have fusion to show solidarity. You can have fusion to you even have intermarriage or not. So why don't you have that kind of? Now you even have kopi plus campur teh, kopi campur Milo. You have all that kind of vision. Why can't you have a bigger vision of foreign food with Malaysian food? I remember last time they introduced this spaghetti rendang, which was very popular in Australia before. Then there was this pastry where instead of being plain, they know European like to have pastry, then they replace pastry with the local fruit like we have. Buah rambutan ke, mangga ke, which is our local food. That I think fusion, not to an extent to destroy the authenticity of the taste of the food, the flavor, but the fusion which to make sure that it is to show solidarity and togetherness. I don't mind. I'm all for it.
So you talk about teh tarik, you talk about nasi lemak, you talk about a lot of all these dishes or food from Malaysia that reminds me of breakfast, right? And I think breakfast is a very big thing for Malaysians. And we understand that Malaysia has submitted a nomination to inscribe its breakfast culture in Malaysia as part of its intangible cultural heritage.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little more?
I think this is our approach to tell the people how we operate in our daily life. And then normally for Malaysian, for you and me, breakfast is very important. And of all the food, there's a lot of food, mind you, but the most popular food in Malaysia, if you go for breakfast menu, would be roti canai, nasi lemak, and teh tarik. This is not even, it's called breakfast package or breakfast food, but this is all rounder. You can have a nasi lemak in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, later, supper is always there. Same goes to roti canai, same goes to teh tarik. I think what we want to show is togetherness. Because when we have this breakfast, we always have this together with our friends, with our family. Because this is how we showcase Malaysia. We are a multiracial country. We can live together peacefully because of understanding each other, tolerance, and of course respect. And if you go to Malaysia, if your viewers for friends, foreign friends wants to go to Malaysia, you can see this clearly. When you go to kedai mama stall or Chinese stall or warung Melayu, you can have this mix of people sitting around and just chit-chatting, eating, and just be Malaysians. That is what we want to promote, and this is what we want to showcase. And hopefully, I think we have been addressing this in UNESCO in March, and of course we are very proud of it. Among other things that we have already submitted to UNESCO and been acknowledged.
Let's talk about something that is not scripted. Let's talk about, you mentioned from the very beginning, we like to fight about food.
Yeah.
You know how like our neighboring countries, Southeast Asia is very, very melange, like very mixed, right?
Or you're gonna get me into trouble.
And we like to say that, oh, this comes from Malaysia, or this comes from another nation, or this comes from another nation. How do you solve these kind of problems?
Well, even food can unite you. Food can also make you go to war.
Right.
And there's always a good example of how food can make you go to war since the beginning, But yes, when it comes to food, a popular food, there will always be these people grabbing for to say that it's yes, yeah, it's yes, and there's a lot. There's a lot of food been out there and been debated, and how we solve it now. Before was very crazy. Before was you go cyber troopers bashing each other,
Wow.
Yeah. I can even say that it goes even to even into government to government where we have to discuss about this
Wow.
because we want to just maintain harmony in the country, so we do not want this to escalate it. But how we saw was very beautiful when we understand that if this particular food is in this neighboring country, it is Southeast Asia
Right.
food cuisine,
Yeah.
but it is been claimed by about 3 to 4 countries.
Yeah.
What we tend to do is we just say, let's just acknowledge this together. Let's just acknowledge this food as our food. Nusantara, makanan Southeast Asia is our food. Not only food, there's also songs, batik, for instance, clothing. And there's always an issue before. But now,
I'm so glad I didn't wear my batik. Because he's definitely wearing a Malaysian batik, and like I waited for someone to call me out, and if I wore my batik, which is Indonesian batik, he would have asked me to get out of the embassy. But yeah, I think it's true. Like we should celebrate food that unites us and whatever not. And I feel that I'll give an example within a country. This is my opinion. Not the embassy's opinion. This is my opinion. So for example, when I cook sambal nasi lemak, for example, sambal. And sambal tumis is a category of sambal. The way you cook it is you have to cook it that way for it to be sambal tumis, right? But the flavor of the sambal, okay, for me, my version is Abang Brian's sambal, right? And then that one is Cik Kia sambal, right? You cannot say that the whole sambal tumis is yours, right? But this version of sambal tumis is ours. That sambal tumis version of sambal tumis is yours. I think that's fair, right? But to aim the whole category or something is kind of weird because we are so close to each other. If you go back to history, there's definitely some sort of relationship that we've had that this food traveled here and here and here, and like there are certain influences and make it so. Like for example, like even adobo. So my partner is Filipino, and adobo from the central part of Philippines and the northern part and the southern part is different.
Yep.
Right, but the general adobo is fine. It's Filipino, right? But no one can claim like this version is everybody's version. So everybody has their own version. I feel it's that way, and like for me, doesn't matter who says this. It's just like it's yummy, right?
yeah. I mean, it's same because if you have that kind of understanding, then you be in harmony with everyone. Before, I can tell you 10 years, 15 years back before, it was very difficult to even acknowledge a certain food because once you say this is our food, then everybody will say, no, it's not your food. It's origin from my food. It come from us. And no, actually it's not. It's origin from our food. So then it becomes troublesome where now us diplomat then have to calm down everybody. How are we going to solve this?
Yeah.
Are we going to go by what? By cyber trooping, talking bad about each other? Or are we going to solve it? And the way that we solve it, one is of course to saying that this is
Ours.
cuisine and the flavors are different. So this could be Malaysian flavor of this version. That would be your version of that version.
Yeah.
But there's also one way to do it. Is by actually asking foreigner to taste. I was doing a talk, and then this student stand up and say, we're talking about food diplomacy.
Yeah.
And they said, Mr. Ambassador, can you just tell in front of the audience which laksa is better. This country or this country. Now, it's not now claiming that this belongs to me. Now, which one is better? Mine tastes better or this country tastes better? And I said, well, to you, yours will be better. To me, mine is better. Let's settle this by competition. I said, let's say you cook your laksa, I cook my laksa, and let the third party taste, foreigner to taste. And whatever decision he make, you and I have to agree that this is a valid decision.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. And that is how it is now.
Right. So this brings us to the final segment of our show where I also do the same thing as you did, where I bring sambals, 3 different sambals, including my own, where I get other people to pick the best one, whether it's mine or not. It does not really matter. It's a fun element to the show. But before we go to that, one last thing. What are your hopes for Malaysian cuisine's reputation and recognition in France and across Europe?
I hope it can be tasted around the world. I hope Malaysian food will be there at the international stage, where we are already proud to say that is our food. But I really hope that that this food can bring peace and harmony, Malaysian food especially, and this food can also symbolize unity through taste and flavors, and of course, food of love. So I do hope that with you, as being a celebrity chef, you represent Malaysia in terms of bringing Malaysian food to the world. I hope you you're very successful. I hope wish you very good luck in terms of getting it out there. Because for me as ambassador, we can only advise, promote, defend our policy. But you are the one who do the groundwork. You are the one who actually, with the materials, to go on the ground and say, look, guys, this is a Malaysian food and you should taste it. And this is the best food in the world. So that's how it is.
Yep, and thank you very much. This is a big ask for me, but this is also the same belief that I have with everyone on my show. And I say the reason why I have this show is to celebrate Asian diversity and culture, because I can't do it alone.
Yep.
To tell the Malaysian story, I can't do it alone. To tell the Asian story, I can't do it alone. And that's why I have multiple people. Wherever I go, I reach out to anyone who represents the pride of Asian food culture and heritage, especially in Malaysia, because I'm Malaysian, to come connect with me and help me spread the word. Like what you said, it's not one story. It is everybody's story that makes the Malaysian story or the Asian story.
Sure.
So thank you very much for joining us on our show. But now it's the part where we call, or the segment that we call the Sambal Survey. This is called the Sambal Survey. Yang mana? Yang mana? Where I travel the world with 3 different sambals. Okay, Dato', you have to be very careful because one of the sambals is made by me. It's fine. One is made by one of the most famous nasi lemak chain in Malaysia. And one is made by one of the most famous food influencer, who is not me, who sold 1 million ringgit of sambals in 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken, on a TikTok live. We will not mention the names so that I tak kena saman or I don't get sued. But it is now up to you to taste the sambal one by one and tell us what you taste, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and ultimately choose your favorite.
Okay. Ini sedap kalau nasi lemak ni.
He's like, if there's nasi lemak, this will be good. Unfortunately, Dato', I don't have a kitchen here, okay?
Nasi lemak dengan uti canai letak edal. This is the best. Ini you bagi taste sambal je.
I don't know how to come back from that. It's basically...
So, I kena taste semua kan?
Yes. So, the first one, what do you taste? What does it taste like?
Taste like strawberry. No. It tastes like sambal lah. But there's sweetness, there's sweet sikit.
Sweet, or is it more salty, or is it like, what do you taste?
Ya, I bukan chef. Tapi I rasa just sweet and salty sikit. Tapi dia sedap lah. Macam sambal nasi lemak.
Second one. Just by the side, I know which one is mine, but I will just guide the audience. The first one actually is a little bit less oily. or the type of oil they're using is a little bit different because it's all like lumped up, right? And then the second one, you can see some sort of separation of the oil a little bit leaning out.
Ini ada oil. Ini pun manis juga.
And that's sweet.
Tapi ni ada ini I think the blend more kot. Ini belum lagi kan?
Belum lagi. I tell you, this is exactly a Malaysian reaction. We get so excited about food. And this is the third one. Same, there's some sort of separation of oil.
Ini ada ikan bilis.
And anchovies.
Anchovies.
Actually, I can tell you that the ingredients of all three is the same.
Huh?
I verified all the ingredients. They're exactly the same. Not true. One has something else. Let me correct my statement. I think one has... No, two of it has belacan. One doesn't have belacan. That's the only main difference.
Yours have belacan or not?
Huh? Just say which one you like lah. 1, 2 or 3.
Either this one or this one.
To find out if Datuk Eldeen, the ambassador of Malaysia in France, actually picked my sambal or not, make sure you tune into the video on Spotify or YouTube. We'll only reveal it there. With that, Datuk, I thank you very much for your time with us. Is there any last message that you want to send out? I can send out one message on behalf of the Embassy of Malaysia. To all Malaysians, please find your embassy that's nearest to you. If you are in France, it is in Paris, 16e, the 16th arrondissement. It is Rue Benouville. In the 16th arrondissement in Paris. So come register yourself. It is not about spying on you. We're just making sure that all Malaysians are accounted for. You can come here and vote. And whatever you need to know and you need help with Malaysia, the Malaysian embassy is here for you. Okay. Other than that, any other messages?
Just continue what you're doing, chef.
Not to me lah, to the audience lah.
Or to audience, okay. Just support him. And ask him to continue what he's doing, chef. What he's doing is very noble, very good. He's presenting Malaysia. It makes my life more easier because we have a fellow colleague who also presenting and promoting Malaysia through their food. And of course, if you are in town in Paris, please come and visit us in the embassy. Or if you anywhere in Paris and Eiffel Tower, if you bump into us, just say hi because we love to meet you guys. But again, support Chef Brian because he has been doing this for a noble cause for Malaysia and for the country, and I do believe and hope that you are very successful in this, and semoga kita berjumpa lagi.
Semoga kita berjumpa lagi. And to all of you listening right now, just like to remind everyone, if you want to follow the Instagram, the Facebook, the socials of the Embassy of Malaysia in Paris to get updates, to come to the events and stuff like that. On Facebook is Malaysian Embassy Paris. On Instagram is Embassy of Malaysia Paris. And on X, it is MYEMB Paris. With that, before I leave, I would like to give you a token which represents, I believe, our culture and also the show Hungry Immigrant. Always reminding everyone to have a rice day because we love our rice. And this is from us. And of course, inside I have a batik pencil box, which I filled with some cutleries. So thank you very much for joining us on our show. And please continue doing the good work that you do. I know it's not as easy as whatever you've said. My job is much easier. I just go around talking to people. Food diplomacy, I know it's so much more than that. And I'm so glad to be at least a tiny bit part of it. So thank you very much. And to our audiences, as usual, I will always remind everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. This has been yet another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. My name is Abang Brian.
Terima kasih and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. It's been a delightful feast of stories and flavors that remind us just how much food brings us together. Now don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you'll never miss an episode. And if you loved today's culinary journey, leave us a review and share the episode with your friends and family. Your support helps keep our traditions alive and our tables more diverse. Do follow us on Instagram at Hungry Immigrant and my personal account Abang Brian for behind the scenes looks and extra tidbits from each episode. We love to see how food inspires you, so do tag us in your next food adventure. I'm Abang Brian, reminding you to savor every bite and cherish every moment at the table. Until next time, keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open.